So you know that Family Guy clip called Men, We Don't Know What We Did, where two high school girls walk up to a high school guy. One of the girls says, "Hey Tyler, are you on your way to algebra?" And he responds by saying, "Yeah, I'll see you there." To which the girl begins to cry and jumps out a window. Then her friend turns to the guy, points at him and says, "You're awful." Then it says, "Men, we don't know what we did." Well, the guy has a clueless look on his face. Well, let me explain this situation to everyone from both perspectives. We'll start with the ladies. Now, guys. The girl asking, "Hey Tyler, are you on your way to algebra?" means she was fishing for a specific response. In this case, the guy was supposed to offer to walk her to class. Women will think that if you don't offer to walk them to class, or to spend time with them, then you must not have any real interest in them, because if you had some sort of desire to spend time with them, you would have offered to take the girl to class. At least that's what the more mature women might think. But because this was a teenage girl, him not wanting to spend time with her obviously meant that he hated her and thought she was fat and ugly, and he called her a skank in front of her friends behind her back, and not in the kinky way that turns her on, but in the way that means you hate her and wish she would die in a fire. Now, a lot of women grow out of this phase once they enter adulthood, but not all of them, because our society encourages a lot of women to obsess over meaningless stuff and not actually use their brains. When I was in high school, a lot of women got a free ride just for being female, and when that happens, the brain doesn't fully develop. Your brain is a muscle, and it must be exercised if you wish to keep it in working order. And a lot of women in present-day society are presented with an easy path through their adolescence, when they are too young to understand that it's destructive, which comes to the cost of their intelligence later on. But the point is that this is most common in high school, when girls are not fully matured yet, but it can happen in adulthood also. Now, the more intelligent women will like to ask you a lot of trick questions or lead-on questions. Now, this serves two practical purposes to the more mature, more intelligent women. First is by fishing for responses, they can determine if they'll catch anything, and will be better able to determine how you feel about something or how you think without actually asking you and having to wonder if you're being honest or not, or if you're simply lying to her. The other reason is to see if you will catch and identify the traps she's laying for you. If you notice them, she knows you're an intelligent person, or at least close. The way women rationalize it is that if you identify the fish hooks, it's not really a lot of effort to avoid them, and that's completely true. To the very experienced guy, these are very easy to notice. It's hardly a large sum of effort to ask of a person, so it's not perceived as a big deal. To the guy that can't figure it out, the girl doesn't have much sympathy for, because women are selfish and just don't care what happens to you if you fall below their standard. Just as science can sometimes be a convenient bastion for the truly amoral, rationalizing one guy as better and more intelligent than another guy is a convenient excuse to not do nice things to one of those two guys. So the proper response from the guy in this scene would have been to ask if she wanted to walk with him to algebra, at least from a female perspective. However, women need to understand that this works both ways. In the guy's mind, she didn't ask if he wanted to walk with her to algebra, so she must not have a particular interest in spending time with him. This is normally the first thought, and it pays no mind to the fact that if you did ask him and he said no, then you would have to think he hated you. The way guys rationalize it is if you have a problem of some sort, you're expected to tell them, and if you don't come forward, it must not be a big enough deal to warrant their attention. So baiting them with signs doesn't always work if your goal is to see if they care about you enough to fix the problem on their own. Anyway, I think that should cover a proper diagnostic of this whole situation. I'll leave a link to the original clip in the description below this video if you want to watch it. So, yeah. I hope you found the information in the video useful.